Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome to Knowledge TV. First of all, if you are new with the channel, please subscribe the channels and click the bell icon for new videos. Today we will discuss about phonetics and the different sounds, the different places that the sound are produced from it. We will discuss in this video in detail. So first of all, we discuss phonetics. That what is phonetics? The general study of the characteristic of speech sound is called phonetics. Our main interest will be articulatory phonetics, which is the study of how speech sounds are made or articulated. Other areas of studies are acoustic phonetics, which deals with the physical properties of speech, as sound waves in the air, and the auditory phonetics, perceptual phonetics, which deals with the perception through the air of speech sounds. Usually the sounds are divided into two main branches, the voiced and voiceless sounds. So in articulatory phonetics, we investigate how speech sounds are produced using the fairly complex oral equipment we have. We start with the air pushed out by the lungs up through the trachea or windpipe to the larynx. Inside the larynx are your vocal folds or vocal cords, which take two basic positions. When the vocal cords are spread apart, the air from the lungs passes between them unimpeded, or an obstruction is there in the airway. Sounds produced in this way are described as voiceless because the vocal cords doesn't vibrate. The wind freely go through it. Secondly, when the vocal cords are drawn together, the air from the lungs repeatedly pushes them apart as passes through, creating a vibration effects. Sound produced in this way are described as voiced sounds because vocal cords are in general we do experiments. So keep hand on your head or hold your throat and say Z sound, za. You will feel that there is vibration. If you say wa sound, there will be no vibration in the vocal cords. This is voiceless. The distinction can be physically if you place a fingertip gently on the top of your Adam apple, the part of your larynx you can feel in your neck below your chin, then produce sounds such as za, va. Because these are voice sound, you should be able feel some vibration. Keep your fingertip in the same position and now make the sound s, of F are fa. Because these are voiceless sound, there should be no vibration. Another trick is to be finger on each ear, not too far, and produce the voice sound za. To hear and feel some vibration, whereas no vibration will be heard or felt if you make voiceless sound sa in the same way. Place of articulations. Okay, different sound have different positions in the mouth. The first is once the air has passed through the larynx, it comes up and through the mouth and the nose. Most consonant sounds are produced by using the tongue and other parts of the mouth to contract. In the same way, the shape of the oral cavity through which the air is passing. The term is to describe many sounds or those which do not place up articulation on the same sound. That is the location inside the mouth at which contraction takes place. What we need is a slice of head. If you crack a head right down the middle, you will be able to see what part of the oral cavity are crucially involved in the speech productions. To describe the flash articulation of most consonant sound, we can start in front of the mouth and work back. We can also keep the voiced and voiceless distinction in mind and begin using the symbol of the phonetic alphabet for specific sounds. This symbol will be closed with square brackets. In the picture, I will show you the different positions that from where the sound is produced. First is bilabial. These are the sound using both upper and lower lips, labia. The initial sound in the words pet, bed, and mates are what? They are bilabials. They are represented by the symbol fa, which is voiceless, and ba and m are voiced. We can also describe the va sound found in the beginning of wake, walk, and word is bilabial. Labodentals. These are the sounds formed with upper teeth and the lower lip. The initial sounds of the word fed and vet, and the final sound in the word safe, save, are labodental. They are represented by the symbol F, which is voiceless, and V, which is voiced. Notice that the final sound, the word cuff, an initial sound, and the photo, despite the spelling difference, are both pronounced as F sound or the fa sound. Dental sounds. These sounds are formed with the tongue tip, the upper front teeth. The initial sounds of thin and the final sound of the father both voiceless dental. The symbol used for the sound is ta, usually referred to as theta. It is the symbol you would use for the first and last sound for the phrase three teeth. The voiced dental is represented by the symbol da, usually called eta. The sound is found in the pronunciation of initial sound of common words like the, there, then, and thus. It is the middle consonant sound in the feather and the final sound of va. The term interdental is sometimes used for these consonants when they are pronounced with the tongue tip between enter the upper and lower teeth. Alveolars. These are sound found with the front of the tongue or the alveolar ridge, which is the rough, bony ridge immediately behind the upper teeth. The initial sounds in the top and the dip and sit in zoo, nut, or alveolar. The symbol for these are easy to remember: the ta, da, sa, za, na. Of these ta and sa are the voiceless, where the da, za, and na are voiced. It may be clear the final sound of the word bus, buzz have to be sa and za, respectively, but about the final sound of the word rise, the spelling is misleading because the final sound in this word is voiced. It will be represented by za. Notice also that despite the different spelling of nut and nut, both of these words nouns with na as initial sounds. Other alveolars are the last sound found at beginning of words such as left and let. Palatal. If you peel back behind the alveolar, you should find a hard part in the roof of your mouth. This is called a hard fillet or just a fillet. Sound produced with the initial sound in the words shout and child with which are both voiceless. The sha is represented as symbol just like if, and cha sound is represented by t and just like if symbol. So the word shoes brush begin with in with voiceless palatal sound, and the word church begin and end with other voiceless palatal sounds. Wheelers. Even farther back in the roof of the mouth behind the hard palate, you will find a soft area which is called the soft palate or the velum sound, produced with the back of the tongue against the velum, are called velar. There is a voiceless village represented by the symbol K, which is R occur not only in kid and kel, but also in initial sound in car and could. Despite the variety in spelling, this K sound is both initial and final sound in the word cook, kick, and cook. The voiced wheeler sound heard at beginning of word like go, gun, and give as represented by ga sound. This is also called the final sound in a word like big, mug, and despite the spelling flag. The velum can be lowered by allowing air to flow through the nasal cavity and thereby produce another voiced hair represented by the symbol ing. Typically represent to enigma. In written English, the sound is normally spelled as two-letter ng. So the ing sound at the end of the sing and sang, and despite the spelling tongue, it occurs twice in the form ringing. Be careful not be misled by the spelling of a word like bang at the end with ing sounds only. This is called ga sound in the word. Glottis sounds. There is one sound that produced without the active use of the tongue and other part of the mouth. It is sound ha, which occurred at the beginning of have, house, and for most people is the past sound in who and whose. This sound is usually described as voiceless glottis. The glottis is the space between the vocal cords and the larynx. When glottis is open, is in the production of other voiceless sound. Is there is manipulation of air passes out of the mouth. The sound produced is that presented by ha.